Hi everyone. So I just thought I'd film my second video for you guys now. Just thought I'd go through kind of the process that got me started on this program and kind of from there where I'm at now. So about 4 or 5 years ago, I think about four, I'm not entirely sure. I've been looking at some ways to try and lose some weight. I've been overweight for quite a while and I tried like Weight Watchers and counting calories and stuff like that, and I would lose some weight and it would always come back. So I was suggested to talk to my doctor about this gastric sleeve that was done in Regina. And so I asked him about it and he gave me a little bit of information, but he couldn't really give me much. Anyways, he filled in the referral, but he told me the wait list was like 3 years long, so I might not hear anything for a really long time. Sure enough, a few months later I got a letter saying, yeah, you've been put on the wait list, but it's quite a while, so you probably won't hear from us for quite some time. So it was the end of January 2016, that one weekend, actually my parents called me, said I had a message from them, and so I gave them a call back. And it turns out they finally got to my referral from my family doctor, and asked if I wanted to start, which I was totally kind of caught off guard. I had originally expected just to get the referral to kind of learn about the program and not just jump right into it, but the nurse I talked to over the phone just gave me the details and said, okay, well, if you want to come in for your first appointment, it's on this day in February. So I said yes, thinking no matter what, I'll go for the first appointment and just think about it and discuss it with my fiance Ashley. And we actually ended up apart that weekend, which was probably worked out for the best. We each thought about it independently and both came to the same conclusion that it would be a good idea to at least go see what it was about. So February 24th is when I first went to Regina, a 2.5 hour drive. We stayed the night before. It was a 2-day appointment. Basically, each visit, or the initial visit, I had to see a nurse, the head nurse there, dietitian, exercise therapist, psychologist, as well as the surgeon. First visit, so split up over 2 days. There was a couple of classes we had to take just on basic nutrition and about the surgery. So I went, and the first day they actually told me it had been quite some time since I had blood work done by my doctor, and my A1C, which is basically a measure of blood sugar on your red blood cells, was very high, and they basically said, yeah, you're diabetic, you need to go see your family doctor about this. And my family doctor said I was pre-diabetic for the last time I had seen him. Just I was monitoring blood sugars once in a while here and there. They said, no, you need to go see him about it. And I'd also been on medication for high blood pressure. So they told me I needed to go get the diabetes addressed to my family doctor. So I made an appointment with him as soon as I got back into the city following that and got that taken care of and on some medication. They're under control now and they're much better now. So basically the first 2 days there in the program, they went through the class, explained they do 2 different surgeries, which I'll probably explain in a later video. Met with the dietitian and talked about food journaling, keeping track of all my food that I eat, weighing and measuring absolutely everything. And then I met with the exercise therapist. She talked about kind of activity goals, and I have a Fitbit, so I use that to track my steps. So we set up goals to get a certain number of steps each day. I believe it was 7,000 to start with. And following that, I met with the psychologist, and that one was actually the most surprising to me. He talked a lot about emotional eating and eating when you're bored and techniques to try and prevent those. So of all of them, I thought the psychologist was going to be the least helpful, and I think it was one of the most helpful actually. So every 2 months I had to go to Regina and check in. They were just 1-day appointments after that, and each time I lost some weight pretty much. I went back in April and I was down something like 23 pounds, which was incredible. But they were very happy with it and said all those big changes you make right off the bat, you can lose a big chunk of weight immediately. Went back then after the April appointment in June, and again, same kind of format. You go for a class. Each time the class is about something different. I've had a class basically on the 2 surgeries, about protein intake and the diet before and after surgery. In June I went back again, and I was down, I believe, 8 more pounds. So I was at a total of 31 pounds lost in something like 4 months. And then once again I went back in August for my final appointment at 6 months. And that's basically the final appointment where you see the surgeon and he tells you you've done well enough on the program, you've stuck to it, you've kept your food journals, and basically you're approved for surgery or not. And so I was approved for surgery. All my blood work will look much better from my initial blood work in February. And the only thing that was a little bit off still was my vitamin D, but I had extremely low vitamin D when I started, so just taking some extra supplements for that. And so I was approved for surgery. Now, initially, when I was first there, they suggested the gastric bypass surgery, and after doing some research and thinking about it, I kind of decided I'd like to do the gastric sleeve, which I'll explain the difference between the two in a different video. And discussed it with the surgeon that day, and he said, yeah, either one's going to be a great option for you. I mean, you're going to do well with both. So he said, yeah, we can go ahead with the gastric sleeve. So when I left from that appointment that day, they put me on the wait list, which is typically 3 months. And so I've been kind of trying to keep track of my food still, and my exercise goals are a little bit higher. I'm supposed to be at 10,000 steps now a day. And oh yeah, and at my August appointment, I was up a pound or 2, so I was still at about 30 pounds lost for 6 months. And I got my surgery date just a few weeks ago, so I go for surgery on October 31st, which is kind of creepy that it happens to be Halloween, and I start my pre-op diet on October 17th, so this coming Monday. And so I'm really excited for that, a little bit nervous to see how that goes. Thanks for watching.